a modern democratic state and the growing influence of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. In a scene reminiscent of 1950s Alabama, these buses are segregated. The men ride up front, the women are forced to sit in the back of the bus. They mainly run through the ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods. The segregation began on just 2 routes, but it's now multiplied to 30. The buses cater to the increasingly powerful ultra-Orthodox Haredi sect. They enforce strict, even extreme interpretation of Judaic law. Women must dress modestly, and ultra-Orthodox men are not allowed to sit with women unless they're related or married. Some say segregated buses are the kind of thing you'd expect from the Taliban.
And you've got these radical elements that are just taking over my religion.
Naomi Reagan, an Orthodox Jew, boarded a segregated bus, the only one that runs directly from her neighborhood to downtown Jerusalem.
And then all of a sudden, somebody else got on the bus, and he was about 300 pounds, and he was leaning over me in a very threatening way, and he's yelling at me and screaming at me that women aren't allowed to sit in front of the bus. What's the matter with me? Don't I know this? Get to the back of the bus or else.
Reagan refused to leave her seat, deciding instead to weather the storm of complaints from passengers on what she calls the Taliban bus lines.
The message that you're sending is that women have no value, they have no human dignity, and whether or not you're a Jewish woman or a Muslim woman or a Christian woman, anybody, in the name of religion, it's now open season on women.
Now, both the bus company and Israel's transportation ministry are being taken to court. The lawsuit isn't calling for an end to segregated buses. Instead, this legal advocacy group wants a parallel system for those who don't want to ride a segregated bus.
You have to make sure that where you approve of such a segregated bus line, there is a regulated bus line running in the same route, the same frequency, and the same price.
Not everyone thinks the segregated buses are a bad idea. This Orthodox woman who uses a segregated bus says the separation between men and women is perfect. A holy book should be covered because it's sacred. It's the same with women, she says. If they want to protect us, then separated and covered, that's the way to do it. Bus company officials declined to be interviewed, but released this written statement to CBC News. This particular service is coordinated and approved by the Ministry of Transportation as part of the government policy to encourage the religious sector to use public transportation. The Ministry of Transport refused to comment as long as the case is before the courts. For Reagan and many others, this isn't just about buses, it's about human rights, something which simply cannot be trumped by fundamentalists. They say women must stand up and make sure this kind of